Are y'all ready to get this started?
Let's go.
3, 2, 1.
Let's get it. Here we go.
Sit your ass down and get ready for the next episode of the Urban Green Room.
The Urban Green Room.
With your hosts, my girl A.A. and that dude D.Lewis.
Hey, beautiful people. It's your girl A.A.
What up, world? It's your man, D.Lewis.
And welcome back to another episode of the Urban Green Room podcast. Yes. And tonight, we have a topic for you.
We do, Ma, don't we?
We do. And as you can see, it's just D and I tonight. We had a cancellation. And I'm quick on the feet. So I was like, hey, let's do this topic because it was hot. It was a hot conversation that me and D had just had. And I thought, let's pot about it. Let's talk about it. So tonight it's actually straight off of Facebook, believe it or not. And then an encounter that I had with a young lady while we were out and about a few days ago. So the question was, or what someone said to me was, your relationship, you guys make it look easy. And so I laughed. And I didn't mean to laugh. But I thought to myself, if only she knew. And I got the same type of message on social media. And the young lady, again, different young lady, said, you guys make it look so easy. And and I looked at G and I was like, it's hard work. It's hard work. And for anybody who knows us, like we're entering marriage year number 21. Come September, it'll be 21 years of marriage, and we've known each other for years prior to the marriage. So we've been around enough. Let me say this. We've been around each other enough that we kind of know what works. We know how to move with each other. And I just thought, maybe we should pot about this because if we make it look easy, it's because we've been practicing. And it wasn't always easy, and it still isn't easy. Yeah. Like it's work.
It's not easy. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. No, we don't. If it looks like it might be easy, it's because we fucked up a lot along the way.
Yes. And
we kind of learn.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's not easy. I mean, every day is work.
Yeah. You know, it gets easier.
It does.
Yes.
But relationships are work.
Right.
So that's where you want to go tonight.
Yeah, I wanna pot about this.
So we're gonna pot about what are our habits?
Well,
to like make a marriage or a relationship successful. Is that where we're going?
Yeah, because I think when the young ladies alluded to, we made it seem easy. They're just looking at the behaviors you and I were engaged with, like. Okay. D opens the car door for me. Actually, all of my boys, D has set the example. I wait patiently. They open the car doors. There are certain things that I don't do knowing that I had males in the house. So what she's seeing, in that small little gesture of you opening the door for me, was something that is maybe lacking in her relationships or something that she strives for. Like someone who's a gentleman who will, do something, very small, a small act, but it means a lot. So I've always appreciated that D does that for me. Like, I love that. That's a gentlemanly touch. It was something that he did from the very beginning and he continues to this day. But just her reaction to it seemed like it was not normal. And I've seen other older individuals where I would expect that type of behavior from those types of men, especially with their women, and it was absent. So I think what we're doing, while it shouldn't be like unusual, is unusual to many. And I think when they see the way we interact with each other, I don't know. She said easy, and I laughed because there is no such thing as an easy marriage. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how we got here, and maybe some of the obstacles that happen along the way so people can understand that like a relationship or marriage is work. And I tell people all the time, like, my marriage is my full-time job. Like, yep, I have a secular job. I'm an author. I'm a mom. But marriage is a full-time job. And that's one of the hats that I never get to take off. Like, I can stop being the author chick. And now that the boys are now men and they're pretty much self-sufficient and on their own, like, I can take off the mom hat. But I don't stop being Dee's wife. So how did we get to this place? And like Dee said, it's not easy.
No, so I think it's you said something interesting when you were talking about it's not perceived as normal nowadays. So, when we start thinking back to like our grandparents' generations, and previous ones, when you got married, that was it. That was just the culture. That is what was expected. Society was much different from what it is right now. So as society evolved, so did kind of the roles.
Mm-hmm. So
it became more acceptable to get divorced. So I mean, as that became more and more acceptable, I mean, that's kind of what the trend moved toward, instead of, either one being stuck in a relationship where you're miserable, because I would have to think that a lot of those relationships were miserable. But so we're not doing that today, but on the flip side, I think it's way easier. And I think sometimes it's a cop out, people just dip.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? For, something that probably could be worked out. Okay. So I was, fortunate enough to have a dad in the household with me growing up. So a lot of my mannerisms I got from him. He wasn't a perfect man by no stretch of the imagination, but he always treated my mom good, like always. Even when, they weren't happy with each other, there was never a fight. There was never really a huge argument that was displayed in front of the kids. We would know when mom was upset. You know what I mean?
I think everybody knows when moms are upset.
Yeah, anybody know my mom, especially my mom. So you'll know if she ain't happy with you. But it was always a respectful relationship. And so as I got older and matured and started thinking about, starting a family and stuff, or who am I kidding? When I jumped into having a family, there was no thought about it. But yeah, I just kind of mimicked that kind of behavior. And unfortunately, like I say, I was fortunate to have a pops in the house with me. But if he wasn't, I think I had enough good uncles too,
right,
to be able to, step in and look out.
Which is also important to have, for males to have good male role models, to look at when it comes to how we treat each other, especially in relationships. So get this. I read this book a couple years back, maybe 4 years back. It's actually called The 5 Love Languages, The Secrets to Love That Lasts. Here it is. By Gary Chapman. Sorry. And I read the book and I was like, yes, like I know what my love languages are. And what I forgot to do was to share it with Dee. So I read it 4 years ago. And then in 2 years later, I said, I think Dee needs to read this. And so I gave it to him as a gift because I was like, I got you.
I think it was like an anniversary
Yeah,
gift
it
or some
was.
shit
I
too.
was
That's
like,
fucked up.
I said, because I was going to get him because
That's
I knew
fucked
what
up.
my love languages were, but I wasn't sure he understood what they were. So gave it to D. He read it. I was reading my copy again too. And then I had an aha moment. See, I was trying to get D and catch him out there, but I had an aha moment myself. I was like, I don't think I've been loving D the way he needs to be loved. And I think what the book helped me do was understand that I just can't love him the way I want to love him because it doesn't work like that. Like he's receiving it, but it's not what he needs. And he's loving me the way he wants to love me and doesn't understand what my love language is. So like we shared this aha moment together. And mind you, like that was year 18 of the marriage, right? So
yeah,
18 years going into the marriage when you realize, I missed an opportunity. Like
that's a little fucked up too. It don't make you feel good.
No.
It don't make you feel good.
No, because so just to give you a little bit of insight, like D was bringing home flowers every Friday for me. They were roses. And he would be so excited because he would be like, happy Friday, we did it, babe. And I'd be like, oh, thanks.
I was trying shit.
but yay. Like, first of all, roses aren't my favorite flower. I love calla lilies, but it was the thought that counted. So I accepted that. And what I really wanted, D, tell them what you understood to be my love language. So I think we might need to back up because there's the 5 love languages. Maybe we should explain
5 love
that.
languages.
Okay.
So the 5 love languages. Damn, you're gonna press me now. So you've got acts of kindness. It's acts of service.
Yep.
Excuse me. It's acts of service. You also have mine, which is the touch. So I receive love and affection by attention, basically.
Right.
So we're not talking about sex, we're talking affection. Just intimate moments that we spend together is how I prefer to receive love. What else we got, Ma? We got gifts.
Mm-hmm.
We got gifts. I'm missing 2.
Affirmation. Words of affirmation and quality time.
Quality time.
Yes.
There you go.
Those are the other 2. So we got
Damn,
acts
I'm
of
glad
service.
I didn't miss what yours was. Shit, that would have been
acts
fucked
of
up.
service, gifts, touch.
That would have been fucked up.
Words of affirmation and quality time. Those are the 5 love languages.
Yeah.
So what did you learn my love language, my primary love languages? Because you can't have more than one, especially depending on where you're at in your life and what your needs are. But my main and primary love language was what, D?
Acts of service.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. So the flowers and shit, she didn't care about that. I mean, not that she didn't care. She did.
No, they were nice gestures. And I felt loved. Like he thought of me during the day, which was nice.
Yeah. So the point is that it wasn't how she preferred me to show that I loved her. So acts of service means that she would prefer me do things to help her out around the house. Like if she come home or I come home and she already here and she might be sitting down or whatever the case may be, and I just get up or I come in and say I start cleaning the kitchen or something. That's an act of service.
And it's not, and it's not just household items.
No.
It's anything that I
was just
wanted
giving an
help
example.
with. Yes.
Just as an example,
Yeah.
that would be an act of service.
Which, by the way, ladies, was the sexiest thing ever. Like to come home and see him mopping the floor, I would be so turned on.
Who would have knew? I would have never guessed that shit. So it was eye opening that I think I was hitting probably every one of the other ones.
Yes.
Except for that.
Yes. Like
except for that. So I had gifts covered.
Yes.
I had words of affirmation covered. I had the affection covered. I had them all covered except fucking acts of service. Her main love language. So that was crazy.
So
it was crazy.
And it wasn't, 18 years of marriage again. So I would sit here and be like, I know he loves me because he says it. He shows it to me, by his deeds and the way he touches me. He showers me with gifts and we always spend quality time together, but I was missing something. And I felt like once he got acts of service, I felt complete. Like love for me had become whole, and it was one circle. And it was such a relief because I'm the type of person and the personality where I'm not going to ask for help. Like I'm never going to do it. If you don't notice it to be done, then shame on you. More than likely, I'm going to take care of it myself. Never going to ask. But the fact that now he recognizes, one, I'm not going to ask, but two, if he just takes the initiative and does it on his own, like that to me tells me that he loves me, like he's thinking of me. Because again, we both work, secular jobs, and then we, building the Lewis empire. Within that, like I was carrying the burden. I was doing everything else around the house. It was a little too late, but yay, he got it after 18 years and I felt complete. Now on the opposite side of that, like I was doing acts of service for D, had gifts down packed, right? Quality time, because he spent it with me, I'm spending it with him. But D is touchy-feely and I'm not. Like, here's my phrase. I'm emotionally constipated. So the whole touchy-feely, show your emotions, express yourself is my weakness. Like it has slowly become a strength because I have to work at it. But those are D's two primary, like touch is his primary love language. So get this, I would touch for 5 minutes and be like, okay, I'm done with this. When he really wanted and craved me touching him. And it would be something as simple as like, just rub his head, rub his shoulders, cuddle with him. And like, cause he would always grab me and I'd be like, I don't like sitting this way. I prefer sitting over here. So I would pull away and I didn't even realize what that was saying to him. Just imagine that 18 years of your wife not giving you the one love that you crave, the one thing that says I'm complete when you do this for me. So I had to get in tune with my emotions and being okay, being touchy-feely with my husband. And again, it wasn't like I wasn't doing it. I wasn't doing it enough and I wasn't consistent at it. And that was that part when I said, I wasn't consistent with it.
It's tough, especially when you're not geared toward whatever the love language is of your mate. So it's not like I never helped clean the house in 18 years.
Yeah, no.
It was spotty at best.
Mm-hmm.
So, it just wasn't enough. So if something happens not enough that you need, you're going to feel underappreciated.
Yes.
To some extent.
Yeah.
So, So that's, it was a great read.
It was.
Great book. And I really appreciated reading that. So.
And I love the fact that I now know affirmation is his secondary love language. And to me, those go hand in hand. It's not just good that I do it all the time. Sometimes. But I've created a consistency around it so that it's like second nature. for us. Like, I think now that we know that in the last almost 3 years, I think it has made communication a little bit better too, because knowing, just how to approach each other based on our love languages, um, has opened us up to being a little bit more vulnerable with each other and understanding when we talk about the emotional and mental impact our words can have on each other. Like, I think it's made it's uncomplicated the communication process between us.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Communication has been huge, and it's just a matter of, all that's true, but I think it comes down to, we understand why now.
Mhm.
So I understand, now why you do certain things and you say certain things. I understand it now, instead of just being in my own mind and having to come up with my own story. Now I know, and now I can get ahead of the game and be like, okay, I see what's going on right now. Let's go ahead and talk about this and just, we move forward.
Right.
So it was, and so you know why I do certain things.
Yeah.
So.
Girl, because listen, I love the gifts. Like, but when you come home with a diamond bracelet, and I'm like, oh, that's cute, but you spent 2 hours at the mall, you certainly could have helped me clean up the house. Like, that was my reaction. And I think it showed on my face, where I was like, another extravagant gift. I love you too, babe, but the carpet still looks dirty. Like, that's where I was. And look at the disconnect. I felt like, I honestly now feel bad that was my reaction.
And you should.
No, but with me, it's the little things. Like, I could have saved you some money. I mean, I love it on my arm when I do wear it. But just think of the impact we're having on each other right now. I still accept gifts, but the fact that now he knows and he's aware of it, he actively engages in acts of service without even me batting an eye, and I love that. And like I said, it's the sexiest thing to me. It's the biggest turn on, because it screams, this man loves me. He knows that I'm tired. He knows that I'm not going to ask, and he saw something and he did it. Like, that to me is the most powerful thing. So, the 5 love languages, the secret to love that lasts. Gary Chapman. Read this book.
It's a good read.
And it's a quick read. And
it's a small book.
And what I would suggest is not just focusing on what your love language is, because is there a test that they take kind of to hone in?
There is one for you to determine what yours is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the way it goes, you actually take the test before you start reading. So it's kind of designed for you to go through and answer a set of questions. It takes maybe 10 minutes or something like that. But then once you submit it, it regurgitates what your love language is. And they're pretty spot on. It makes sense. So it helps you understand yourself better, first off.
Yes.
And now you can communicate that to your spouse and say, hey, look, this is how I need to be loved. And what it also does, when you guys use it together, is you get to understand your partner much, much better. And it just makes the relationship bond stronger. You guys get more open, more honest, more trusting. It just, I don't see any negatives to it. And you know what? It could even save you down the line. You know what I mean? So
quite a few headaches.
Yeah. So there is a test, but it's real. It's not like a 30-minute joint. It's like maybe 10 minutes, maybe real quick something.
And if you're thinking about having a serious relationship, I'm a fan of knowing who you are before you bring yourself to the table. And this is one of those things that I think if Dee and I had known, 18 years ago, like if this book was out there at that point, it would have saved us, quite a few headaches along the way. And like he said, it opened us up to being vulnerable with each other and kind of ease the communication between us. Not that it was rocky, but we now understood each other, which brings me to like something else that goes hand in hand with knowing your 5 love languages. And for secular work, we took what's called a personality test. And what is
There's
it?
several of them out there. It's a lot of them out there. This one happened to be the 16 personalities.
No, I'm thinking Pathfinders is what we use for work.
Oh, Pathfinder. Yes. You got a lot of companies use Briggs.
Yes.
Briggs is a real popular one.
And so we knew based on those characteristics, like where we fit in as far as the culture of the companies that we worked for. We knew how to utilize our strengths and our talents as best, and even encouraged, it because we were both in leadership positions, to be able to coach and teach our teams on how to develop themselves and to develop the company. So we were great at that. And then we get to the 16 personalities, which Dee was just mentioning. So the other day, I see a link for 16 personalities, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of like Strength Finder or Briggs. And hey, I'm going to take it. Dee, you should take it too. And like, well, I was like, yay, because I'm pretty consistent in a lot of areas. And so it was no surprise when it came back. I was like, okay, great. I don't know the 16 personalities offhand. It's not, and me mentioning this is not a paid advertisement at all. No, these are just some tools. Some tools that like aha moments in our relationship where we're like, yeah, that totally makes sense. And the good thing is me and Dee will talk about it and be like, yep, it was spot on for me. Any surprises for you? We share each other's information and we're like, yep, that's pretty consistent. Like, this is what I've known all these years. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, it said that I was a commander personality.
Cause I'm bossy.
I am. I'm a control freak. Oh, we said that at the same time. I'm a control freak. I know this. But the surprising piece was when it told me my weaknesses. And that's the area that I'm always most interested in, because I already know, like, I'm a commander. I'm a natural born leader. I'm assertive. It told me what I already knew. One, that I was emotionally constipated. That's not what it said, but that's how I read it. I lead with logic. And I've often told people I will catch logic before I catch emotion. So I already know that about myself. The one thing that it stated too was that I was an extrovert. I already know that. But weakness, the other weakness, do you remember what it said about me, the other weakness? Was it along the lines of?
Well, it's normally a play on your strength.
Well, I think it had to do with
judgmental.
Yes, that was it.
Judgmental.
I was judgmental. I am. So these are areas that I continue to work at, because it's not the first time that I've heard that. I have to work at this. I have to work at showing empathy. So get this. My husband's love language is affirmation and touch. And his wife lacks empathy. And she's a control freak. So if I don't want to do it, sometimes I just don't feel like I want to do it. I have to be vulnerable. I have to know myself enough to say, okay, AA, you have to do this, because this is what matters to D, not what matters to you. So you're going to give up control. You're going to give up control of your emotions. You're going to do some exercises to practice empathy. You're not going to be as assertive. Like you can be controlling, but there comes a point in a relationship where sometimes D needs to take the realm, and I need to be okay with that. It's not saying that I'm losing power. What it's saying is I'm empowering myself to be led by the rightful head of me. So
the weird part about that is, though, about as much as your personality dominant is control, it was never really like that at home.
No.
Like your outside at work 9 to 5 person is completely different, I think, than what we get to see at home. You know, when you're relaxed, you're able to let your hair down and just be you. I think, I mean, it's completely different. So I mean, that's the weird part about it. But everybody's, you know, is different, and so when you get when you take it and you get your personality, just know everything is not cookie cutter either.
Yeah,
because everybody's got their own different, you know, how you was raised, all types of things that can vary.
Right.
And so there's not a okay, this is how I am, this is it. No, I mean,
by any means.
It varies.
No,
it varies. So
and within the personalities, there's a couple other little attributes that contribute to it. It breaks it down. So you take a quick quiz. They give you who your type A personality, and then it breaks it down for you even further. You can take a really deep dive into this this topic and find out like what your strengths are, what attributes to that. Like when D says, you know, I'm bossy, I am. But when I have just reason to be, like I'm one of the oldest grandchildren on both sides of my family. Like I had to be assertive in order to get my voice heard. I live in a house full of men all my life. Like, so I had to be, you know, a little assertive and aggressive in some areas, and definitely outside in the 9 to 5, because I am in a senior leadership position. Like I have to, like there's a certain level of respect that I demand. So I am going to be a little assertive, a little aggressive, and even bossy, bitch like if you want, but the job gets done. And ultimately it's out of respect, not a fear that people do what I ask them to do. But yeah, am I a control freak? Yes. And did that test say, all of the tests always tell me that's the first thing that come up is that you bossy. And I go, oh, at least I'm consistent. So D, what did your personality test come back as?
I got labeled as a defender. So yeah, I'm way introverted.
Yes.
Which I mean, none of it was a surprise. Like
right.
I said, we've taken these before. I don't think we've ever shared them with each other before, though. Well, maybe once, but I don't.
The
I don't
last time you did Strength Finder, it said that you were analytical.
Well, yeah, but we already knew that.
Yeah, we already knew that.
So, and that is another play on why I'm mostly introverted. You know, I'm just fine sitting thinking about stuff, trying to plan things out, but ironically, that becomes a weakness for me too, because I wait too long and in some instances to make decisions, you know? So I'm trying to get everything perfect and lined up exactly how I want it, when a lot of times it just calls for a decision to be made. Nigga, come on, let's go, let's do it. And, you know, we'll sort the rest out. But, you know, it's just not how I'm wired. I'm analytical and I'm, you know, fiercely protective of friends and family. Yeah, so that was pretty much most of mine.
Yeah. And listen, we're gonna put the link to the 16 personalities in the description.
Yeah.
Put a link to the episode and of the book too, because I think it's a good read and just a good exercise, because if you don't know these about yourself, better yet, if your partner doesn't understand like why you do the things that you do, or maybe you're not feeling as complete in your relationship, I just think it's a good review. It's either a review or an aha moment for you to kind of share what your results are, so that maybe, you know, it can help you in your relationship. And this is just like a couple of the tools that D and I have utilized over the last couple years to kind of strengthen our relationship.
Yeah, so I want to put this out there too. Don't feel like you have to be in a relationship to benefit from these books, because or the book or the personality finder, because it helps you understand yourself better. So you're ahead of the game when you do start searching out someone to build a relationship with. You're more better equipped
Yes.
to communicate to that person exactly what you need in a relationship. So you get to know yourself and you get to understand you so that you can communicate to somebody else, this is who I am and this is what I need way early in the game.
Right.
So you don't spend a whole bunch of time that may end up wasted because this person may not be able to give you what you need.
Right.
So I think it's beneficial for everybody.
Right.
I think.
I think so too. So let's move on. So something else that I know that Dee and I decided early in the marriage that we weren't going to do anymore. I think it was year 2.
It was in the middle of year 2. We were in our second year.
Yeah. Well, because we both remember this argument, and it was an argument. Like, I think some hurtful things were said. Feelings definitely were strong, but we had our very first like major blow up. And what we decided after that was that we were not going to argue anymore. Like we just
not like that. We argue.
No, we are. Well, let's put it this way. We don't even argue. We discuss things, and sometimes we agree to disagree. Like if we're not moving and traction isn't going anywhere, we agree to disagree and we walk away. Like I have yet to really argue with this man since year 2, which hilarious. Like we don't even remember what the argument was about.
I can't for the life of me.
But this part of the conversation, and he hates when I tell it. So I'm gonna let you tell the story.
No, you can tell the story.
Okay.
You can tell it if you want.
Okay,
I will correct you when you get to exaggerating this.
Listen.
Just know that.
Fine. I'll tell the story. So this is what happened.
No, hell no. Fuck it. I'll tell the story. No, you starting out wrong already.
Go ahead and tell the story. Go ahead and tell
I got
the story.
this one. So, like we say, we don't know what the argument was about.
Nope.
But this is basically the long and the short of it. She got mad at me. I was mad at her. And then she gonna blurt out, well, I'm leaving you. I'm leaving and I'm going back to Buffalo. I said, well, all right. Peace. How you getting there? She gonna tell me, well, you gonna drive me. I said, you out of your mind. How you think, you know what type of person I am. You know I am not about to drive you across 3 states to leave me. That ain't happening. And we continued to argue about that right up till we fell asleep. I think we fell asleep arguing about that.
Listen, we did. Listen, I was packing the bags.
She was packing.
We had small kids.
I was
packing.
Yeah, the game had to come out though, y'all. You know how it go, fellas. Game had to come out. It was a real serious fight, and we were real young in our relationship, in our marriage.
Yes,
so it had a huge impact.
It just didn't feel good.
It didn't
and that's when I thought, like, we really need to work on communicating with each other.
Yeah,
it can never get that bad ever again.
I think we both woke up a little bit embarrassed because, like you said, we had small children at the time. And, we living in this real small apartment at the time. So, yeah, I mean, so it's not like you could hide that from them. And it was, yeah, it was pretty bad. But we learned from that too.
Yes.
That's just too much.
Yeah.
And I vowed to her. I was like, look, if I ever get that mad at you again, then we just need to dissolve this because that I can't. I'm a no drama type of dude.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the drama and shit
I'm
like
enough
that.
drama.
So
we don't both need to
yeah.
be
So
like
that was just too much for me. I'm like, shit, man. I wanted to lay I wanted to put my paws on it.
It was so much negative.
I was gonna put hands on her.
He was gonna get blessed. No, but seriously, like we had, it was so negative. The energy was so not us. And I just thought, like, when we woke up the next day, we laughed, we hugged each other, like we kissed, we apologized,
and
like,
then
it just didn't feel good. So like,
it felt good.
Well, we made up, but the point was, we knew going forward that was not something that behavior we wanted in our marriage. Like,
that was pretty crazy.
It was. So we make an effort not to be upset with each other when we get to bed. Like, there's no need for us to have that kind of negative energy in such an intimate space.
No, that's not to say that it hasn't happened.
No, it's not to say that it hasn't happened. Oh yeah, because I can hold a grudge.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can hold a grudge. And I'm not afraid to say, like, when we agree to, like, disagree, usually it's because I can't get my way.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that about myself. And he knows that too. So I just shut down. I shut down until I can logically process the reason behind the no that he's telling me. Why something can't happen. And like I told him, usually no is not a firm, end all be all. It may just be a not now moment. And he knows how I view the word no. It literally is a not now. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
8 years old, man. She hear the word no, her whole countenance changed. I'd be like, hey, I'm used to it now though. So I just be like, well, I'm going out to smoke. Fuck it.
So
you sitting here with that shit.
No.
We ain't doing that.
It's a not now moment. I recognize it may not be good timing, whatever the case may be, but we'll revisit this when the timing is right. And this is the kicker. Yeah, usually we don't revisit. Usually he just makes it happen because he knows that it's something that meant a lot to me. So end all be all of discussion. Like, D is the make it happen person. And I appreciate that.
Sometimes.
Yes, sometimes. Well, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
I'm telling people that.
But anyway, so we don't argue. We prefer to talk things out. And if it becomes a situation where we're both not agreeing, we walk away. We sleep on it. We bring it back to the table when it's necessary. And it's okay to agree to disagree and to respect each other's opinion. So something else that we do that I think works for us.
What we do?
I don't know. We have fun.
God, that's so important. Oh my goodness. That's probably number 2 behind respecting each other.
Yes.
Man, if you're going to be in a long-term relationship and you don't have fun, oh man, it could be miserable. Now, we've had some stretches where it ain't been fun.
No.
And it was miserable.
Yes.
But our personalities are such in just how we vibe with each other. We have to have fun.
Yes.
If we're not having fun, we know something is wrong with one or the other of us. Like, so we're always laughing at each other, with each other, at other people. I mean, no, it's just, you gotta have fun, man.
Like,
regardless of what it is. Whatever you like to do it together.
Yes.
Now, you got your own time too, but you have to have fun together if it's gonna work. For sure.
I enjoy Dee's company. Like, we can be in a room with people and I enjoy his company. We can be just, both of us, but I enjoy his company. I love that he gets me because aside from being a control freak and like bossy, I'm fucking hilarious. And people sometimes don't get a chance to see this side
They
of me.
really don't know. They really don't know.
No, in fact, his friends, when he told them that he was marrying me, they all were like, oh my God, she's so stuck up. She's so serious.
They called you a little more than that.
I'm sure they did. And but it was sweet when he tells me the story because he's like, you guys just don't know her like I know her. And I felt like, thank you. Like, thank you for sticking up for me in that moment because I think because I am so hard and aggressive in certain situations. And unfortunately, that may be the only situation people see me in. They don't know like just how relaxed and down to earth and fun I can be. And yeah, like
the later at night, the more fun.
Oh, the sleepier I get,
not in a sexual way, but
hilarious. Like I am. Put me on the stage with a mic, I have everybody laughing.
Yeah, so
we have fun. Yeah. We have fun together.
Having fun is very important. It really carries you through the tough times. When things do get tough, you know it's gonna pass and y'all be having fun again. It's critical. I think it's right up there with respect. It's right up there with healthy sex life. I mean, I would say that's probably top 3. You know?
Well, I think for me, communication, respect, and then fun.
Okay.
That's the order I prioritize things in. But certainly it makes the top 3 for me too.
That's cool.
No,
shit.
No.
I ain't changing my mind. Sex is in there.
No, well, it's there. It's there.
All right. You got your list. I got mine. That's cool.
That's cool. But and this is the funny thing. Like even today, since I've been working, we're both working from home.
Back to work, y'all.
Yeah, because we get nothing done during the day. We sit in the cafe, and crack each other up all day long. Like, I'm surprised I make half my conference calls when I'm supposed to. Like I do anything that's on my calendar because we are literally having too much fun. And he said today, I look forward to the day where we don't have to go back to the 9 to 5 and we could just do this with each other each and every day. And I was like, oh,
that's going to be dope.
That is so sweet. And then I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. Like, we don't get nothing done now. How we going to get done? We ain't going to have no money. We not going to get no work.
But we'll have each other, baby.
I'm accustomed to some of these gifts.
You ain't going to love me without my money?
No, I ain't going to say I ain't going to love you without your money, but like, I'm accustomed to some things. We gonna have to like curtail the fun until maybe after 5, but I don't see that happening.
Oh
we'll make it work one way or the other. So as you can see, we clearly have fun.
Yeah, man. What else? What else we got,
you mentioned.
Well, let me tell you this too. So just to give you a little bit more of a background for us in our relationship. We just kind of just did it, didn't think much about it. Had our youngest, was married all within, a few weeks of each other. And we moved away from home, like right away.
Yes. I think it was 3 months after.
3 months after Amir. Amir was like 3 months. When we moved here to Michigan. And it was tough as fuck. It was real hard. We didn't have anybody, no support system, except for each other. Mm-hmm. So, but looking back on it, it was the best decision that I think we made early on in our relationship. And I say that because it forced us to deal with our problems. It forced us to work through stuff, like that big argument we had. If we haven't been building on our relationship and going through what we've gone through to that point, it might have ended us.
And this
I mean, I would like my advice, don't let other people run your relationship.
Yes.
Now, everybody needs people to talk to. I get that. So I'm not saying you got to cut everybody off like I did. Yo, I'm sorry, y'all, again. But, yeah, it's like you have to be able to build with that person, because if you're running to everybody else when things get a little tough in your house, then you're going to be unduly influenced by other people. And they're going to be telling you what she thinks and what she's doing or what he's doing. And, oh, he just trying to do this. And, well, y'all know how it goes.
Yeah.
Y'all know how it goes. So the best thing was that we didn't have none of that. We deaded all that noise. So any problem that came up, we had to talk to each other.
Yes.
Because we didn't have nobody else.
Yes.
And that ended up being the foundation that I think probably is one of the most important things of why we're sitting here today, is because we had that really strong foundation of just having to depend on each other.
Right.
It was truly us against the world at that point. So,
and cutting out that extra noise.
Yeah, man.
And we all know what that looks like. We all know, like, and this is the thing. Sometimes those people who want to interject their thoughts and opinions into your relationship don't have a healthy relationship of their own, are not handling business, are doing quite the opposite of what you're trying to do in your marriage. So I always made it a point, like I knew like it was me and D. If we had to talk, we were going to talk about it. And we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. But we were going to talk about it. Not once while I was, when we moved away, did I feel like I need to go call, 3 girlfriends and tell D, talk about D. Wasn't their business. Like, that's my husband. I need to figure out what's going on with him, which means we need to talk. Or the same with me. He needed to understand his wife, but not once. And looking back, I am so thankful that I didn't fall into that trap. Because like you said, I don't think we would have made it this far. I didn't need everybody else's opinion of our relationship. I needed our opinion of what we were doing. And I needed to understand that we both were traveling down the same road, and more importantly, in the same car. Like, get that. Like, we weren't going in opposite directions, and that our wants and needs for our relationship, not only that, but the family's relationship, we were headed in the right direction together.
So. Yeah. Like I said, it was huge for us, I think. Mm-hmm. It also helped too that we already kind of knew what everybody thought.
Yes.
So it was like, fuck them.
So, and this is the funny thing, guys, like 21 years, right? 21 years. And they didn't even think we would last one.
Fuck y'all.
And it's funny because they're all divorced. And that's not a ha-ha. What I'm saying is we incorporated some behaviors early in our marriage to kind of, like Dee said, lay the foundation for what we wanted and how we wanted this to work.
See, that's that lack of empathy. Like,
No,
I know you weren't making fun of me.
No, I'm not making fun of. Because I want everybody to have a really great relationship.
So it's kind of why we're doing this pod today. I mean, it's huge, especially today. I think as a community, we need to get back together as family units, as families, and we need to start really building together as communities.
And showing Black love. Because it's a lot of it out there, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of Black love out there.
So, and the longer we can stay in relationships with those that we love, that gets us that much closer to the goal.
Mm-hmm. So, Dee kind of talked about, like, some of the rough patches in our relationship. Because I think we made it, we talked about like what we're doing, our communication, how we love each other, the fun we have. Personalities. But it hasn't always, been like, we've done this in the relationship.
It's been a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, we've had some hiccups, potholes, that roller coaster that make you sick.
Mountains to climb.
Yeah, but we did it together. And I think that because for many of you who may not know, I've had some serious health issues in the past that took a toll on this family. And I always think about those times. And so there's a few things. Like I know D. I know his personality. I know how to engage him in certain situations. But when I go down, like I've never seen more fear in my husband's eyes when the doctor says, what he says, and, having to be able to communicate with him. Like, hey, babe, I can't allow you to fall right now because I need you. So being able to lift him up and keep him with me. Because again, I will catch logic before I catch emotion, and D is emotional, and we connect, like we complement each other in that manner. And knowing this about each other, we were able to navigate some pretty like rough waters in our relationship. Yeah, tons.
But that's that defender. I mean, if I love you, when things are down, it's gonna affect me a lot.
Yes.
So yeah, it was, man.
Yeah. And
I was down bad because I'm the type, I'm not going to talk to you about it. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to internalize it and I'll shut down.
And when I don't need him to shut down.
Like, I'll be like, fuck it.
I'm like, let me pull you back in. Let me pull you back in. Like, but those were those moments where I really appreciated the fact that we knew this about each other. Mm-hmm. Like we had been studying each other, since we got married. Again, this is my full-time job. And just like any job, I'm going to do the homework to make sure I get it right. And with this, I was just like, during those times, and even when I would go into that deep, space, D was always there to pull me up and say, okay, you know what do you need? You need to talk to me. It's okay to feel. Because I struggle with that. And he's like, it's okay to be in touch with your emotions. Tell me, how you're feeling. And just first word that comes up to your mind. And for me to be comfortable enough doing that with him, because again, that's a weakness of mine. I will shut down. Like in my household, or growing up with women that are strong in your family, I don't think to this day I've ever seen my grandmother, my mother, or any of my aunts cry. So here I am, like crying is a sign of weakness. I will never do it. And I'm in a vulnerable state where I don't understand what this rash of emotion that's happening to me. And he's like, I think you're sad. I think you need to cry. And I'm like, I don't understand what I'm feeling. I don't understand this. Something's about to happen. He's like, it's okay. Calm down. Get in touch with your feelings. Like, let it take you where you need to go right now, because you need a release. And I'd be like, I don't know about this. I can't.
I gotta go cook. No. Nigga, sit down. Sit down and cry. Here's some tissue.
Yes. So
crazy, man.
That's that comes with that man knowing his wife.
Crazy.
So yes, so that is something else. Like we've the roller coasters and rocky times, as difficult as they may have been, I think the foundation was there for us to be able, like we had the tools to be able to navigate them. Whether or not we were going to utilize those tools was a completely different situation, but it can be done. And Lord knows we've had enough of them.
Unfortunately we have.
Yeah.
Unfortunately we have. So. And
I think like I know, like even when choosing movies, like there's this one movie. D says he likes it. I don't know if he likes it. The Best Man, right? Like, love that movie. I'll watch it every time it comes on. The Best Man of the Holiday. So when Mia, Monica Calhoun's character, when she passes away, that is a part in the movie where like I'm gonna hold these hands because he goes somewhere.
We're gonna put some context into that.
Well, because of my health issues, like there were moments where. So let me be vulnerable with you guys. There was one time where I was having heart pains, and it was really weird. Like, and they were bad. And I turned to D, and it was late at night. And I said, "Babe, something's going on. I'm having heart pains." And he was like, "What do you mean? Like heartburn?" I said, No. I feel my body feels weird. And I started listening to my body a couple years ago because of other health issues. And I said, something's not right. And he said, "Well, what do you want to do? Let's go to the hospital." I said, "No, it's too late." He was like, "I think we need to go to the hospital." I said, "It can wait till in the morning." And just then this commercial came on. And I don't think I've seen this commercial since. Have you?
No.
Where this lady was in her nightgown and she was like, "Oh, I really should go to the hospital. I'm not feeling good." And she was like, "No, what will the neighbors say if I call the ambulance? Who's going to watch my dog?" Like she rattled off. She was like, "The house is a mess." She was like, "I'll do it in the morning." Right. And in the morning, she was dead.
The saddest fucking commercial in the world, man. God
like,
damn.
oh. And
this commercial was sad as fuck. And that's all it took for me. I went off the deep end. Get your shit. We up right now. I don't give a fuck how late it is. We gone.
And I literally was like, okay. And I got dressed. But then I said, "You're not taking me to the real hospital. We're just gonna go up to that clinic in town." And mind you, we lived in a rural area. So like I was go to the clinic because I really didn't think it was that serious. So we're in there. And everybody's like, "Hey," and they're joking because it's late and we're the only people in there. And, everybody's smiling. And they're like, "We're going to get you out of here. We're going to take you down for a CAT scan or whatever it was that they did. And then we're going to go from there." So we're like, la, 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 right? Until they came back. And nobody was, everybody had the "I think you're dying" look on their face. And I was like, what happened to happy people? Like, what's going on? And they were like, "Okay, so listen, Mr. Lewis, we need to get your wife to the hospital right now." And I was like, "No, it's not that serious." And they were like, "Yes, it is. We need you to, the ambulance is picking you up to take you to the hospital right now." And I was like, "Oh, okay. What is it?" They're like, "They're going to tell you and fill you in when you get there." So imagine, like, I didn't even think it was serious enough to go. So I could see D zoning out.
Nigga,
and
I'm
like, I can't leave him. Like, he shouldn't drive, follow the ambulance by himself. This is not good. So he follows us. We get there, right?
I damn near beat the ambulance there because
and then the doctors come in. Like, I'm rushed right in. I get right into a room. The doctor comes in, and I have a cardiologist, the pulmonary surgeon, and the general surgeon. And they're like, "We need to do heart-lung surgery on you tomorrow." And D lost it. And I was just like, whoa, too much information.
I'm getting ready to fight the doctors and shit. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
He was like, "My wife is fine." And they were like, "She is not." And it was in that moment, like, because I'm listening to what they're saying, but I'm paying attention to my husband.
I ain't heard nothing after, what was it? Surgery in the morning. Emergency surgery in the morning. I zoned out.
And luckily it was not in the morning because they wanted to do it with the robotic arm because this is how complicated the surgery was going to be, that they had to wait for the arm. So they were going to do the surgery Monday morning. So this is Friday where this happened. And I said, "Oh, I get to go home for the weekend then." And he was like, "No. What we need you to do, Mrs. Lewis, is we need you to contact your mom, your dad, because if this doesn't go right, we don't want your husband to have to explain why you didn't make that call. So it was at that point that I really understood the severity of what was about to happen. And
so not only
yeah,
do I have to deal with my baby being down, now I got all these other niggas that's coming up here. Oh man.
And it was not a good time for family to be visited. And the thing that I kept thinking about, like I was even worried about myself. I was more so worried about D and the boys. And I was just like, oh my God, like I have to live. I have to be okay because I don't think that they're ready for me to not be here.
Nah,
and
we wasn't.
And so surgery day came. The sad thing is, and you don't find this out until, you're out of surgery and everything's clear. What they told D was that it was probably going to be about an hour-long surgery, right?
Yeah, they said about 2 hours.
2 hours. Yeah. 5.5 hours later.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, they came out. 6 hours. Yeah, 5-6 hours. And they're like, we pretty much did what we could do. There's still going to be a few issues, but she's resting and she's okay now. So could you imagine for 5.5 hours? Like, I don't know what happened on that table, and I don't want to know that I coded or anything like that. I didn't ask and I didn't care. I woke up. And I think when we watch that part of The Best Man, it takes him back to that situation. Mm-hmm. In thinking that his wife was going to die. And because it happened so fast, and it was over 4th of July weekend too. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so just let me mention this too. That's what my personality, that's one of my weaknesses. That my personality says I will go back to the past and think about, doing things differently, what I could have did in certain situations and blah, blah, blah. Instead of just moving forward, sometimes I have a tendency to look back a little too much. It's always nice to look back a little bit. But when you have the type of introverted personality that I have, and on top of that, analytical, you spend too much time thinking about things that really don't matter no more.
And you have no control over. So, and I know as much as I love that movie and he will want to watch it with me because that's part of quality time. I always hold his hand during that part because I literally say, babe, I'm here. I made it. Like, we don't have to go back there. Like, I don't have to see a cardiologist for another 2 years. Like, I'm good. But I have to reaffirm that with him and just let him know it's okay. But it's those moments, I think, that brought us closer together too. And we really started really appreciating the time that we have with each other.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, yeah.
Cause that one night, and thanks to that commercial, because I could have easily have been that lady that didn't wake up the next morning.
You would have been that lady.
And it was so scary to us that I think that was crazy. That was so crazy.
Yeah, that was the first one. Wasn't that the first one?
What? The first major medical? No.
This one was. Oh,
there's been several. I literally am in the medical books as a patient behind some of the stuff. Like, they use me as a student teaching patient because some of the issues that I've had, I'm like that 1 in a million person, or the one person in the United States that has an issue. So yeah, they study me. That's just how crazy some of my health issues have been. So let's move on to something a little bit more positive. We also are in sync spiritually. And I think that's important as well. And being in sync spiritually is different than being of like religion.
Because we do not. The same stuff.
We do not believe the same religious makeup. But spiritually, like I make a conscious effort to not only pray with my husband, to pray over him, for him, and with him, but that being connected and grounded spiritually, like being in tune with that with each other. And when that's off, we notice that right away too. Like that means that maybe we need to get back into focus with each other. We need to meditate.
That happens a lot when if our communication's off for whatever reason, say I go off and on the deep end or whatever, and I just get in my mind or whatever the case may be, and we're not talking, we'll get out of sync.
Yes.
Spiritually.
So
So yeah, spirituality is definitely important. Not religious beliefs, but your spiritual beliefs, who you are inside, in your core individual. And that's probably another pod right there.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
So let's touch on this, the crazy level.
Oh yes.
Let's touch on the crazy level.
So gentlemen and ladies, works either way, but I came home one day and I told Dee how I broke down the reason why men think women are crazy. And this is the thing. Like, first of all, women are not crazy. Well, some of us are, but there's medicine for that. So that's a quick fix. That's a quick fix. But we are emotional beings. That's part of our makeup. Some more than others, but we are emotional beings. When we get so-called crazy or emotional, that escalates those levels, which is where you get the, like, I can't control her, like, feeling that men will get, or even women get when it's the men who's being emotional. Your logic level of a male needs to be equal to your emotional level of a female. And I'm going to say this again. Your logic level needs to be equal to or above the emotional level at its highest peak of a female. And this is that part where we're talking about being evenly yoked with somebody. If her emotional level is a 7 at its highest, and she's just ranting and full of emotion, and your logic level, whatever those words of encouragement, whatever you say to her, you cannot bring her level down. You cannot bring her to a rational state. Then you are unevenly yoked. I'm going to say that again. If your words cannot calm her emotional state, then you are unevenly yoked. And this is where you get into men who are more drawn to superficial things. Where you're like, oh, she's a 10. She's a bad mamma jamma. Yes, I did.
Did you?
Yes, I did. She a bad mamma jamma.
Oh,
she a brick house.
Now.
That girl got a body. Like,
your old ass.
Listen, yeah. So if you are just stuck on the physical being of someone, and her crazy level is a 9, like if the scale is 1 to 10,
run.
And your logic level is a 5 and she's a 9, there is nothing that you are going to be able to say to that woman or that man to bring them down to a rational state. You are not equipped with the tools to handle that. And yes, in that situation, she may seem a little crazy because you lack the logic ability to be able to calm her down. No words, no actions, nothing you say is going to diffuse that situation.
And let me qualify that though before you go on too far. That doesn't mean you stupid.
Mm-mm.
That's not what we're saying.
No.
It just means her emotional level is higher.
Yes.
Than
It
you being
outweighs.
able to calm her down.
Yes, it outweighs.
With your words.
And you know this. You know
So-
this. If you're one of those gentlemen or one of those men who just, you are so laid back and easygoing and drama free, and you kind of keep your voice right here, like you don't get no louder than this. You be like, "What's up, man? How you doing, bro?" Like this is your tone, and her tone is like, "I said, clap, 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 like blah blah blah." She doing all of this.
Don't do it,
There
bro.
may be nothing that you can say to her to bring her down. No words of affirmation, no kind of acts of love are going to diffuse that situation, because it's going to keep happening. And you're going to get tired of it because that's not your makeup. You've seen it. You've seen a man be very docile with a woman that's out in public, who just giving him all kind of habit,
acting a damn
and
fool.
she acting up. It's not just because he love her and that's just my woman. No, he's given up trying to diffuse the situation. No, he is, because he's learned, like, man, what am I, you've seen it. What am I do? That's just her. That's just her. No. You may be unevenly yoked because your makeup as a man and your logic level can't combat that. If your logic level is a 5 and she's a 10, you can't go any higher. You can't make up that difference. So you've got to pay attention to that, because to me, there are always clues in our partners that we choose, like what that makeup looks like. And the good thing is, as no matter how emotional I do get, like D knows exactly what to do to bring me down. And it falls just like this. And then I'd be like, and he'd be like, "You all right now?" And I'd be like, "Yep, I'm good. All right, I just need to breathe." And he'll be like, "All right, we good." It's funny because I also know exactly what to do to bring him down. And just like that,
yep.
I can diffuse the situation. Like, somebody could have said something that was ignorant and disrespectful, and we overheard it and may have made a comment, and now they coming at him. Woo-hoo. I'd be like, we're not doing that today. Let me bring him back down and let's walk away, and it's gonna be okay. Like, I can diffuse the situation just like that, just like he can with me. Evenly yoked. And you have to recognize that. So we're not crazy. We're just emotional. And I think that speaks to both, because this can be a man or a woman.
For sure. It goes both.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
It goes both ways. I mean,
the logic
it's not just
level
the man's logic level.
Yeah.
It's the ladies as well.
Yes.
She's got to be able to bring him back down.
Yes. You have to be able to diffuse the situation and get your other partner back to a rational logic state. Like, don't let, how we say, don't let someone hijack your emotions. In that moment, your emotions has been hijacked. It's about to get on and popping. And instead of getting it on and popping, let's bring it down. Let's take a deep breath and let's talk about it. And then that way we're both on an even playing field again, instead of one person dominating the situation. And I think, we're not crazy. The emotional and the logic level either need to match, or that logic level needs to be higher than the emotional level. You can never have an emotional level higher than someone's logic level, because there's nothing that this other individual is going to be able to do, because this person with the more aggressive emotional state is always going to win. It'll be a match made in hell. I guarantee it. And I see it all the time.
You see it.
And I literally want to go to people and be like, you're unevenly yoked, because she's driving you crazy. And you do this. Like, I don't get it. You do this in the name of love every other day. Like, every other day. Like, every time I see y'all out in public, every other day. That's how I know I see y'all too much. Every other day I see her acting a fool, and you kind of just shaking your head trying to figure out what you can do, to not feel this way. And there's nothing, and you just put up with it. You need to run. Unevenly yoked. Go find you somebody that you can use your tools to diffuse that situation. emotions, and logical state. You got to know those. And like I said, there are cues. There are cues early on in relationships, whether or not you're
to them and
acute,
believe them.
whether or not you are
Yeah,
equipped
that's
to
the thing
handle
too.
that person.
You gotta believe them. Don't think you're gonna run up in a relationship and change the other person. That is not gonna happen. Just don't
Amen.
even think about it. Like no, that person is gonna change when that person wants to change. If they want to change, you are not gonna change that person.
Yes.
Male or female, it ain't gonna happen. So all you women out there talking about, yeah, I know how we do now, but I can change him. I can get him to do. No, you can't. No, you can't. And the same thing. For dudes. Yeah, I know she
wild now.
She wild now, but
her.
watch, I'm a tank. No, you're not.
No, you're not. Listen, I think it was year 5. Kid you not, year 5. So you heard about year 2. We got to year 5, right? I think it was year 5 that I stopped trying to change D. I was like, you know what? I signed up willingly to be his wife. I'm going to accept the good, bad, and ugly with him. And the thing that I wanted to change the most was D's a smoker. I have chronic bronchitis. We shouldn't even be together. He can't smoke in the house. Like, and I'm so dramatic with it. Like every time he would smoke, I just cough.
Oh my God, like she was dying.
Like, oh, you're choking me. Like all the time, like he would light up, and I'd be like, I don't want to ride in your car because you smoking your car and it's killing me. So listen, year 5, I was like, you know what? He is never gonna stop smoking as long as I keep behaving this way.
So the ironic part of the whole thing was, the more she complained and the more she nagged me about it, the more I smoked. I'm like, shit, I don't want to hear this shit. I'm going outside.
So I stopped. I was like, I'm not going to change him. Listen, he understands the health consequences for me. He knows this. So he doesn't smoke in the house.
Never have.
Yay. But the irritation that I was doing, the nagging, and it wasn't so much with words, it was my behavior, which in itself is just as bad, was a distraction to our marriage. I decided I was not going to try to change him anymore. I didn't want to change him. I knew he smoked before we got together. So why am I going to try to change him now? When he's ready, he'll do what he needs to do for himself. And at this point, it becomes a health issue for him, not for me. Because if I don't want to smoke, then I'm going to say, hey, babe, take my car when we go out. We're going to take my car because he knows he can't smoke in my car versus me getting into his car. So there were little tweaks, little subtle, innocent tweaks and ways around not having to be around,
You're just going to throw that slick shit in there. You're going to throw that slick shit in there.
Because that's literally what I would do.
Because he can't smoke in my car.
He can't smoke in my car.
No, don't do that.
Babe, it
was so unnecessary.
No, but it's the truth. Listen, instead of being so dramatic with it, I was just like, let's just change some of the things that we do and how we do them. Like, and you know what? After I stopped trying to change him, again, the communication got better. Like, I accept this man, like I said, good, bad, and ugly. And he accepts me, good, bad, and ugly. Like, stop trying to change each other. If that man, if D wants to stop smoking, he'll stop smoking. Listen, guys, we making baby steps. He got up to vaping now.
Yeah, work with me. Work with me, nigga.
And hopefully next we gonna open up them Chanics. Like, but it's baby steps, and it's not up to me. It's up to him. That's him. I accepted the good, bad, and the ugly. I'm not trying to change that, like, anymore. So year 5, I stopped trying to change that man. And it made his life and my life a little easier.
Please, people.
Acceptance.
Either you're going to accept that person or you are not.
Mm-hmm.
But don't go in there thinking you're about to change something. Because you're going to be sadly disappointed. You're going to be upset like a motherfucker.
And knowing that I'm judgmental, that's not going to happen. And me being judgmental was not helping.
Nope.
So, yeah. So, I think you learned a lot about us. I think, like, we talked about a lot of stuff. Yeah. And if it seems that our relationship is easy It's because we put in the work, guys. Like,
It's a lot of
lot of work. And every day we wake up committed to this marriage to make it work. So you can't just be like one and done, or that didn't work and this didn't work. There's so many tools out there. There's so many tools. You just have to be willing to find them.
You hit it on the head, though. The commitment level has to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you guys are truly committed to each other and want to be in that relationship and make it work and continue to watch it grow and thrive, then it'll be less work to put in the work.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, it's just you get in it what you get out of it what you put in.
Yeah. And if you want to get to 20, 10, 30, 50 years, you're going to work hard at it. It should be the most important thing that you do. Like, and this is
there's
the cool
no days
thing.
off. It's like parenthood. It's like raising kids. You know, the same kind of mentality. You don't have days off. You're always married. You're always husband. You're always wife. You're always dad. You're always mom. If you got kids in the relationship. So, yeah, there's no days off with it. So you just, you learn to work with it. And if you're committed to each other, then it makes it easier to be in it together and to make it work.
Yeah.
You want to make it work more.
Yeah. So no such thing as a perfect marriage. But there are marriages that are in harmony. There are marriages that, because of the work and dedication and commitment, have longevity, and marriages that are healthy. And I think we have a little bit of all of that, only because we're dedicated to the process. And our process may not work for you, but hopefully this will give you some encouragement on some things that you can maybe implement now into your relationships so that you can get to where it is that you want to go. So to the young ladies out there, I didn't mean to laugh. I wanted to diffuse the I wanted to take away the like easy part of what relationships should be. Like that's a myth. Like it's not easy. We make it look easy because we've been practicing this for a while.
Yeah. Yes. But you know, under the covers, it's a lot of work.
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
There's been a lot of tears, a lot of heartache, a lot of pain. But we, you know,
damn.
No. Listen, that sounds like I was going to color purple.
Wait a minute, man. I could have swore I was about to see.
No.
To you do right by me.
No. In all honesty,
you just gave that beautiful speech. And then was like, cuz, let me tell you.
Listen, it has not always been easy.
No.
But listen,
no, it hasn't.
That man puts a smile on my face.
Hey.
And I enjoy his company and enjoy being his wife. And that in itself is a reason why, like, I will keep working at
Ditto,
this.
mama.
I will keep working at this.
Ditto.
So,
we still together.
We ain't killed each other yet.
Got close. Got close.
Listen. Yeah.
I've been half dead a few times.
So listen. Talk about it. Let us know. Like, this is us being open and honest, and this was huge for us because normally, like, sharing,
nobody gets to see that.
Nobody gets to see this part of us, but I thought it was worthy enough of bringing to the podcast and letting you guys know, like, this is why the Lewises get down the way we do. Like, so if you out and about and you see us smiling, at least now you know why. Like, it's a genuine smile. And if you see us out and about giving each other the side eye, just know he said no.
Probably.
And I'm trying to process that. I'm trying to process that. So, hey, hit us up. Like us on IG. Get us on Facebook. Leave some comments. Like, we've got some really huge topics coming up in the next week. some really great guests, as promised.
Yes.
So
Yes,
hopefully it
yes,
won't be
yes.
too many more conversations with just me and Dee, but know that if we do come to you without any guests, it's because it's something we think is deserving of being talked about, and that somewhere somebody can use the information that we're going to be talking about. So, hey,
Facts.
yeah. So remember, like, subscribe, and hit us up. Comments are welcome. Again, it's your girl, AA.
It's your man, D.Lewis.
Hey, and it's the Urban Green Room Podcast, and we out.
We out.
Thank you for tuning into the Urban Green Room Podcast. Let's keep the conversation going. Hit us up at urbangreenroom.net or on our Facebook or IG page.
I always follow them.
Tell us what you think about today's conversation. If there's a topic you want to discuss, let us know. And by all means, tell a friend. The Urban Green Room Podcast, giving you something to talk about. Until next time, we out.